The Italian Wine Podcast is the community-driven platform for Italian wine geeks around the world. Support the show by donating at ItalianWinepodcast.com. Donate €5 or more and we'll send you a copy of our latest book, My Italian Grape Geek Journal, absolutely free. To get your free copy of My Italian Grape Geek Journal, click support us at ItalianWinepodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. Grazie mille.
Welcome to another episode of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Each week, she travels to incredible wine destinations, interviewing some of the Italian wine scene's most interesting personalities, talking about wines, the foods, as well as the incredible travel destinations.
Hello, my name is Stevie Kim, and we are back with Livin The Dolce Vita. We usually have a slot at 1:30. Today, I'm joining you from Rust. It's in Austria. We're running a bit late today because it took us some time. There was a little bit of traffic. So, hello, everybody. Welcome back. Hey, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
Listen, I have to show you where I am. Hold on. Let me see if I can turn this around. Here, maybe I can show you this side. Can you see?
Wow, where are you?
Can you believe this? It's super windy today, but I just wanted to show you. I'm in Rust. It's in Austria.
Rust, in Austria,
yeah.
Österreich.
Yeah, Österreich. Yeah, exactly. We're doing a little Vinitaly tour today in a few hours. So
That's cool. My tea.
Oh, you've been drinking.
I've been tasting.
Yeah, tasting. What have you been tasting?
The new vintages of Barolo.
Oh, and how's that going? Where are you tasting? Are you tasting at the consortium? Hi from Dallas.
I'm currently in the consortio's office here in Alba, having an espresso. Thank God.
Oh, okay. So how many wines have you tasted?
I've been tasting for 3 days now, and I'm almost at 300.
Oh, wow. And how many have you got left?
A little over 200 more.
Oh, shit. Are you doing like a Barolo report, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll do a Barolo and Barbaresco report. Next week, I'm going to taste all the Barbaresco. There's about 180 or 200 of those to taste.
Right.
And then I'll write a report about 2020 Barolo and 2021 Barbaresco. And it's been really pretty. They're ripe and they're juicy. It's a very approachable vintage. And so tasting them is not as hard, but it makes my mouth and teeth, especially with the white beard, it really pronounces the purple lips.
You're looking good, Jeff.
Thanks.
Our connectivity is a little spotty. I mean, I understand because you're in Piemonte, so...
Let me try to go down to their office.
Okay. Italian internet strikes again.
The Wi-Fi here sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you're very, very grainy. But so I'll tell you what I've been up to. Monday, I went to see the Pope. Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I mean,
how was that?
It was very, very interesting because it was like 40 producers, and then there was a big delegation from, of course, Verona Fiere.
Scusami, Steve, è possibile un ufficino usare con 30 minuti per say hi, this is...
Ciao!
30 minuti.
Sì, esatto. Con Wi-Fi. Sì.
Wi-Fi. I can tell your Italian is improving. Wi-Fi. That's hilarious.
Sì. No, io ho Wi-Fi con connectivity un sotto.
Con la password sopra?
No, sopra.
Wi-Fi.
Non funziona. Qui è possibile una...
Sì.
What's the word for borrow?
Prestare.
Oh no.
Posso prendere un prestito?
È possibile un prestito, un ufficio per un momento? Okay, perfetto. I get to use the director's office.
Maybe you can mess around a little
The
bit.
director now is not here.
Ok.
Se vuoi puoi stare quanto vuoi. Questo è un password wifi.
Ok, perfetto, grazie.
Il password wifi?
Sì.
Allora, il password wifi è
IC.
We're going to tell everybody in the entire world now.
Perfetto.
Okay.
Grazie.
we're going to give the Wi-Fi password to everybody now.
Right. And here, when you come to Alba, this is the place. But now,
Yeah.
now am I coming through better?
Actually, you seem to be. Let's see.
Okay, good.
Okay, Direttore Jeff, Matt Liddy. Hi,
Okay, so back
Matt.
to the Pope.
Yeah, so the
So
Pope, as you know, I'm agnostic, but it's kind of a big deal, I guess, right? And it
it's
is
a
a big
huge
deal.
deal.
It's not something I had imagined doing, but it's incredibly protocoled, right? So it's complex and complicated. Also, because this poor man, this poor Pope, I don't know if you can call the pontiff the man, but anyway, so the whole point is he has a very, very tight schedule. Now,
Mhm.
I was a little disappointed because he was clearly fatigued, right? And he like has a routine of the audience, like one before us, one after us, and like it's continuous.
Wow.
So from what I understand, he had been unwell. I was actually expecting to see him in a wheelchair or even not showing up at all, right? But he came, he walked, but clearly fatigued. He gave a speech, which was really nice for 5 minutes, which I surreptitiously, of course, recorded because you're not supposed to do that. But, I wanted to share with everybody because he was talking about wine. And then
Are you enjoying this podcast? Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, for fascinating videos covering Stevie Kim and her travels across Italy and beyond, meeting winemakers, eating local foods, and taking in the scenery. Now, back to the show.
then everyone does the procession, like no like kissing the hand or kneeling, just handshake. And I realized from the photo I got back that I actually grabbed him with both of my hands.
Yeah.
I was like one of the very few people. I don't know what came over me. I did that. I tried to ask him a question, but he didn't understand. And then I just moved on because I didn't want to monopolize. Then he has his routine, right? So that he walks to the audience, to his chair to do the photo op with the group.
Oh, he
And then
doesn't
he
have a
leaves.
routine like a pope, a rabbi, and an imam walking to a bar. Not that kind of routine.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, he's incredibly generous. And when you go to actually shake his hand, his eyes are incredibly penetrating, So I found that was, you're kind of,
Like in
you get
awe.
enthralled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in awe, So it's very fleeting, brief, but it stays with you. So incredible day. And then there were conferences and dinner and all of that stuff. But definitely the highlight was actually getting to meet the Pope.
And
So
so before you go in, what do they tell you? Be like, you have to walk this. You can't turn your back on him. Like, how long does
no,
that
so
go for?
first of all, I mean, I'm terrible because I didn't even know there was a dress code, right? And everyone is like, what do you mean you don't? I mean, luckily I have a lot of black, but
Right.
like when I saw the pictures of the other audiences, it seemed like a funeral. Everyone is in black, and I didn't know that. So now they said that you didn't have to wear a veil because all the women had to wear a veil.
Right.
Like all of these like dress codes, I had no clue. Luckily, like my entire wardrobe is black, right? So that wasn't a problem. But luckily, our group, it was kind of a private one, so private audience. So they had done all the protocols, and we had a separate like VIP line to just, go straight into the audience.
That's
But there was a whole,
amazing.
yeah, so there was a whole, organization behind that. And we had about 40 producers. Of course, not everybody. There are 4,000 exhibitors, but 40 got chosen to be invited. And then, of course, delegation. So Federico, who had joined last week,
Mhm.
Federico Briccola, he's
Yeah.
the president. It was actually his idea. When he first told me, I was like, what is he thinking? Like, going to see the Pope, like, but actually it was very nice. And I was happy that he came up with the idea. So it was nice, something I had never dreamt of doing. And, it was an honor.
Well, you're the only
Let's
person
just say.
I know that's met the Pope, so that's pretty cool.
Oh,
So
yeah. So, and then you can't take pictures. You can't have your own photographer. There's only the official photographer from the Vatican. And then you can request the photos, but everything is incredibly slow. You request it. First of all, it doesn't get published until like the day after or whatever. You order it, but then they have to send your confirmation of your order. And then they say, we will let you know in the next few days how you can pay, the procedure of paying. So in the beginning, I was like, we're so used to getting everything immediately. And I thought this is kind of frustrating. But in the end, when we finally got it, it was much more satisfying. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, totally. How much does a picture with a Pope cost?
Yeah, it costs €8.
Oh, that's not
so
bad.
you can.
He could charge a lot more.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like an Italian process at all.
That's a Vatican process.
Yeah, yes. You can tell it's still a very old process, but €8 per picture, so you can pick as many as you want. But there is a complete procedure, which is unusually slow, but in the end, I guess you can appreciate it more,
That's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. So Jeff, tell me about your week, other than you've just mostly been tasting practically, right?
All I do is so starting Monday I didn't taste. I did school and then prepared all my notes and everything. And I read about the vintages and I looked at just any information I could find about, 2020 and 2021 in Barbaresco. And then what I do is I go to school in the morning and then I drive to Alba, which is from Torino. It's like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, so you do this you kind of commute every day?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then so I taste for about 4.5 to 5 hours.
Just straight, or you have a pause?
I take like a 20-minute break.
Right.
At a certain point, like once my palate starts kind of fatiguing.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I mean, I can. And you're tasting by yourself, or you're tasting with others?
I taste by myself.
Okay.
So I'm in a room with 2 people that are organizing the tasting. It's all blind.
Yeah.
So they have just these flights that are like in bags, and I taste, and they tell me, like, we don't do double blind for Wine Enthusiasts. We do single blind. So I just don't know the producer. I know the vintage, and I know, like, we first tasted Barolo Classic, and then we tasted Comune, and today we started with the MGA.
Oh, okay.
Today I tasted like Vigna Rianda and Lazzarita from Serralunga, which the wines were all really, really beautiful.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting the mentality for tasting, because you want to be really earnest and honest and make sure you get all the information you can get out of each wine. But again, like, they're all the same grape. They're from the same place. So the differences are really narrow, and it's just really trying to hone in on what those differences are, because Nebbiolo should taste within a certain range of each other. So the descriptors they're not that far apart. But the biggest thing that I've noticed in this vintage is the structural differences between wines, depending on when people picked the wines, can go from, it's kind of an interesting divide of wines being really light and fresh with really good acidity. If they held on a little bit later, the wines are just richer and more mouth-filling. The tannins, the acidity is a lot lower. So it's a good vintage to drink pretty early on, but has this very kind of vibrant personality to it. So it's been fun to really. I'm only a little over halfway done for the Barolo tasting, so it's been pretty interesting.
How many vintage reports have you done for Barolo and Barbaresco?
I mean, published, I've only done one, because last year was my first year with Wine Enthusiast, so this will be my second one. But I've been lucky enough to come to like these vintage tastings that the Consorzio. Oh, Wayne, great! Can you come taste with me? Sure, come on, Wayne. I'd love to actually have someone else with me. It's pretty lonely to taste in this like big room by yourself. But I put some music on and just go for it. But I've been writing vintage reports for myself and for like my restaurant staffs for like 10 and 15 years.
Right. When will this report come out? Like, be published? Do you know?
The vintage report should come out in February, and then the scores will probably come out in April, right around Vin Italy.
Okay. Oh, so that's great. Yeah. That's fantastic. You've already tasted quite a number of wines. Other than the structure note that you had given just now, is there anything that comes to mind, just in a very sweeping generalization in terms of the vintage?
Overall, 2020 is, coming off of 2019, which was a much more structured, firm, kind of put in your cellar vintage. This will be more approachable. It's a little more vibrant. The fruit is a little like more present on the nose and the palate. The acidity is just a tad lower overall. The structure of the wines is really good. And it's interesting. The generalization comes from tasting like the Comune wines and the the classic blends. But like today, tasting Vigna Rianda, the Vigna Rianda wines really showed Vigna Rianda. I feel like Vigna Rianda as a vineyard, just sits forward. It has broad shoulders. It's this interplay between really rich wines and great structure, and it was all there. But it was all giving right now. Like I would like sit there and love to drink these wines, but they're going to age really, really well. Someone just asked, "What are you listening to when you're tasting?"
Richard.
So yesterday,
anything that gets you in the groove.
So yes, yesterday I was looking. The first day I was listening to John Coltrane and Duke Ellington had an album together. And that was really it was nice, but it was
mellow.
Kind of, it was super mellow. But yesterday there's this techno marching band that I like on TikTok called Mute, Meute.
Right.
And so I listened to their albums yesterday, and so it's got this like nice droning beat to it that's pretty up tempo, not like super fast, but like a good like boom boom. And
so it gives you like a little bit of rhythm,
it's got rhythm and verve to it. So I really found that kind of that mid tempo, something that kind of lifts you up while you taste, is really fun.
Not making you fall asleep, I suppose.
And I can't do tasting and listen to music that has words, so it has to be has to be in that kind of non-vocal genre.
Right. So do you have to like prepare the wines yourself? Like, do you open the bottles?
No,
they open it for you.
So we have a person from Wine Enthusiast coming and someone from the consortio, and they tag team, and it's good for them that I don't come until the afternoon, because they organize all the flights. I get in
the morning.
Everything's in the bags. Everything's been open. They've tasted through all the wines to make sure there's nothing corked or anything flawed. And then they flight them kind of in groups. So like, that's why I get to try all the Vigna Rianda together, all the Liste together, all the MGAs. And then I just start tasting. Sometimes I have a really good rhythm, and then sometimes I have to kind of take a break and like think about it and then restart the tasting. It's an interesting process to kind of refine.
I think someone from the back office asked, how do you prepare for your winery visit when you do?
So like, I haven't done any winery visits yet this year, but I'm going to in February. But what I usually do.
And where are you going? Can you let it, like what area?
I'm going to be in Umbria at the end of February.
Okay.
I haven't got the full itinerary yet, but I have a phone call about it tomorrow. What I'll do is once I decide where I'm going to go, if I don't like have a good working knowledge already of the winery, like I haven't been before, I'll do some research about the producer, the history, the vineyards, farming practices, all that stuff, and kind of just have a list of questions, kind of like just going to interview someone, just to make sure what I've read is on the up and up. And then, just kind of, listen and hear what they're saying and have an idea of what their whole MO is about their idea for wine and their idea for farming, and just see how that jives with all the other stuff I've been around in my life.
So there's Stevie Waiter. He says, "Ciao, Jeff. Can you tell me a Barolo Barbaresco that you have tasted recently that surprised you?"
That surprised me. That's a really good question. I can't talk about what I've tasted today.
Of course.
But surprised me. I went there in the summertime, and I tasted a lot of wines in the fall, and then I tasted for reviews some other wines in the wintertime. And the evolution of what's happening at like Fontana Freda and Borgogno, I think is really, really amazing. I think what Andrea Ferranetti and his father and his brothers and all the people that work on the team have done over the past decade to get where they are today. I think for a while there was like an emotive idea of a monolith that's kind of not what it is. And I think when I'd gone and tasted the wines and just seen the progress and talked with Andrea and seen how really beautiful and like soulful the winemaking is, it really transpired into something special. And so that's on the Barolo side.
So people ask me, like, what is the difference between Fontana Fredda wines in terms of like Barolo? Let's just take Barolo, right? And Borgogno. Stylistically, what would you say?
Obviously,
that's a geekier question.
There's a terroir perspective, right? So Fontana Fredda is based in Serralunga, and they have a monopole with the Fontana Fredda vineyard, the MGA. And obviously, and I want to just talk about the kind of their higher end wines, not like they make a Fontana Fretta kind of introductory Barolo that's a calling card that I'm always really impressed when a producer of that size, and this is for Bordeaux, this is for Burgundy, this is for anywhere in the world, Champagne especially, where they make a wine in a quantity that makes it available kind of globally, and the wine is really darn good. That I think is the hardest thing to do in the world. If you have 2 hectares and you make shitty wine, you just got to work a little harder. But if you have over 100 hectares and you're busting your ass and everybody is on the same boat rowing in the same direction and you make year in and year out really good wine, I think that's super impressive.
I feel that way about champagne, like the big, huge champagne houses. You know, they're criticized often, but to come out with that large number of quantity of these cuvées, I mean, it's pretty impressive. It's incredibly methodical and scientific. So I feel the same way too.
You know, I think the difference is, irrespective of the terroir, is just, you know, Borgogno, I just recently tried their Canubi 15 just a few nights ago. And, you know, Canubi is such an interesting vineyard, and it's in a tough spot right now because it's a warmer spot. It's always been a Grand Cru, but it's a tough place to grow grapes now. But there's an elegance, there's a pretty, Borgogno has this really lifted vibe to it, right? This like just really kind of, it's enveloping. It's almost like when you swirl the glass, it comes out with these velvet gloves and kind of captures you in that moment. And then depending on the cuvée or the vigna that you get from Fontana Fretta, can have the Serralunga punch, the brawniness. But then, you know, you try La Rosa, which is like a Ludite within the Fontana Fretta vineyard. It smells like roses. It's unbelievable. So it's hard to generalize. I think you have to like go very wine by wine. Be specific
wine by wine.
The winemaking, what they're doing is just you know, at Borgogno now, they're all certified organic. It's all native yeast fermentation. It's all cement fermentation. It's all big botti. The wines are just really, really beautiful. And I had kind of forgotten about them and not kept up until, you know, the past 2 years, and then getting to go there and visit and talk and then taste the wines repeatedly over time. I saw Jenny Guizio on here, and Jenny and I were there filming Sip Trip in 2018. And I remember we were tasting the wines out of barrel. We both looked at each other like, fuck, these wines have gotten a lot better. And so I think they're just on a trajectory that just, and price quality value ratio is high for the winery.
Okay, we're going to just answer the last question, and then we're going to have to close and wrap this up. The question comes from Ale 1993 Granata. Hi, Stevie and Jeff. Can you share your opinion about Etna wine, and what do you think about soon they gonna be DOCG appellation?
I don't know if they're going to be a DOCG. So you may know more about that than me.
Yeah, this is actually a question for Professor Escienza, because as you know, he's the president of Comitato del Vino, and that's where they make the decisions. I reckon it'll be fairly soon, because they are really pushing that, you know?
Mean, I think we're both on a line. Our opinion of Etna, the wines are great.
Yeah, who doesn't love Etna? I mean, that's what I like to know, right?
I think people who haven't tasted wine in a long time, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Etna wines are still very great wines, potentially also long aging, especially the whites. I don't know if you've tasted the whites, like from a lighter vintages, and still very good quality in terms of value.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been lucky enough to do a lot of great wine dinners, and we did a wine dinner a long time ago at Del Posto, but they're like one of the OG Etna producers. It starts with a B.
Benanti?
Benanti. Thank you.
Okay.
We did whites back to the 90s.
Yeah, they are one of the historic wineries from Etna.
And those wines are absolutely stunning, and, you know, helped us change the minds of a lot of guests at our restaurants about the region. And I think today, you know, globally, they're a super wine region that for white, red, rosé, sparkling even, there's some really beautiful wines there.
Yeah, so fun fact, I don't know if you know, but Benanti is partially owned by, I think, 40% by Renzo Rosso. He was the jeans dude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's actually a big fashion house. He owns Mani. He owns everything. He owns a lot of the fashion houses, you know, and he's buying up some wineries now because he wants to, I suppose, like kind of have his own group, of different wine estates.
Cool.
So that's what he's been doing. Yeah. So that's a fun fact. Listen, I think it's great having some questions from the audience as well and through our weekly chat. Thank you for all joining us today. And that is it, because I have to go and start preparing for an event. Vinitaly Roost,
Nice.
Austria, where I get to see some of my friends from Austria. And of course, Pepe Schuller. I don't know if you've met him. Just the nicest, MW ever in history, I think. So generous. And he runs the school here, Wine Academy, also a flagship lesson center for the MW program. So next week, I'll actually be in South Africa, but kind of same time zone. Yes. Yeah. So I'll see where I am and then we'll chat. I mean, it's not important you get everybody on Instalive because we are recording this and we are also replaying, of course, on Italian Wine Podcast, wherever you get pods. So everyone can have access even afterwards.
That's
okay?
You're the queen.
Okay. Ciao. Buona settimana.
Grazie mille.
Ciao, Jeff.
Ciao.
Thank you for joining us on another installment of On the Road Edition, hosted by Stevie Kim. Join her again next week for more interesting content in the Italian wine scene. You can also find us at ItalianWinePodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. You can also check out our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, to watch these interviews and the footage captured of each location. Chin chin!